A murder suspect may walk free. We look at the judge's decision to drop charges after the prosecution asked for a one-day delay. Serious allegations against the Harford County executive, why one councilman claims he is spying on fellow officials, even though we have yet to see any proof.
I really believe this is a stain on our local democracy in Harford County.
A continued fight to get criminals and illegal guns off Baltimore streets. How the U.S. Attorney for Maryland and the city state's attorney are working to keep you safe.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Mary Bubala. City and state leaders touting the success of tough on crime policies after a series of gun arrests and convictions in Baltimore.
But an attempted murder case that won't be moving forward in Baltimore City has some legal experts questioning the decision. Alexa Ashwell looks into the recent arrests and convictions, and Rebecca Pryor is investigating a case that was dismissed because of a prosecutor's illness. She leads off our team coverage outside the courthouse with details surrounding the dismissal. Rebecca?
That's right. The case of an accused murderer and repeat violent offender has been thrown out by a judge today who says this case simply couldn't wait one more day to move forward. According to the city state's attorney's office, the lead prosecutor, Paul Crawley, had contracted the flu over the weekend. He even obtained a doctor's note saying he could not be in court for jury selection today. Because of the circumstances, the state requested a one-day delay. But instead of granting a brief postponement, a judge demanding the state move forward with new counsel. The city state's attorney's office said that was unacceptable and refused, prompting the judge to dismiss the case entirely. We received the following statement from their office this afternoon, reading in part, "Jury selection is a critical stage of the trial process, especially in a homicide case. The court forcing the state into the Hobson's choice of maintaining its prosecutorial independence, function, effectiveness, and continuity versus public safety and accountability does not serve the public interest in any way." Now, I also spoke with local attorneys.
Sides and non-fatal shootings.
What we've added is better intelligence on who the drivers of violence are, specifically what individuals and what organizations are the most drivers of the violence in our community. We have an in-house intelligence unit that helps us with that. And we're also not working violent crime in a vacuum. When we have identified individuals or organizations who are the drivers of violence, we are vetting and investigating them for any and all wrongdoing that meets our priorities, especially pandemic fraud.
And in just the past month, Barron's office says they've launched yet another task force. More on that at 5. Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
This week marks a month since the Brooklyn Day mass shooting, and city leaders continue to face questions surrounding their response. Acting Baltimore Police Commissioner Rich Worley admits his department missed warning signs. Well, tonight, the search for suspects continues. There have been no arrests for the shooting. Police say they found bullet casings from as many as 16 guns at the scene. They believe there are multiple suspects. A 17-year-old is facing weapons and riot charges in connection with the incident, but is not charged in the shooting.
Well, Fox 45 News also pressing the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement on what they knew about potential threats in Brooklyn before the shooting. Monzi leaders tell us Safe Streets workers were at the Brooklyn Day block party and left the shooting before the shooting happened. They say those Safe Streets workers did mediate conflicts, but will not say what those mediations included, when they happened, or how they were reviewed. Fox 45 News has been working to learn what a mediation is for years, but Monzi has never given us that information. Safe Streets workers are not city employees. They work for either LifeBridge or Catholic Charities, the nonprofits that run the various Safe Streets locations throughout the city. City council members questioned nonprofit leaders during a hearing on the shooting earlier this month. It was revealed those mediations were never reviewed.
Has anybody in Muncie then in your agency reviewed those 5 incidents before?
No, we have not reviewed those that have been put in.
We don't know if they are also the same, if they're connected to this event, or whether or not they're also people of interest in this event.
I can't say if that's true or false.
That brings us to our question of the day. Should Catholic Charities be more transparent with the Safe Streets program? So far, 89% of people who voted say yes. You can make your voice heard right now at foxbaltimore.com/vote.
Fox 45 News will continue to press elected leaders on their response to the Brooklyn Day mass shooting. You can find all of our coverage online at foxbaltimore.com.
Well, happening now, the Maryland Department of Transportation is continuing to hear public comment on Governor Wes Moore's plan to bring back the Red Line. Today's meeting at Woodlawn High School is the second to last opportunity for public comment. It runs until 7.
Governor Moore is hoping to have cost estimates and impact studies completed by this fall. He says it'll be a vital pipeline between Baltimore and the surrounding communities.
This city has hundreds of thousands of jobs, but people cannot access them easily. They understood that we have some of the best colleges and hospitals, museums and theaters in the world, and they're all difficult to get to. They understood that our economy is stable but not dynamic, and that our GDP has been falling behind cities like Washington and Philadelphia and Boston for years.
This is going to be very expensive. We're talking about almost $3 billion for this 14-mile line. So that is about $200 million per mile. That's expensive. So I'm really concerned about the price tag, but also that it's really not going to serve as many people as they'd hoped.
Well, Governor Moore's announcement comes 8 years after former Governor Larry Hogan killed the Red Line project in 2015, which at the time was slated for around $3 billion. The federal government had pledged to cover about $1 billion of that.
Coming up, controversy in Harford County, why one council member is accusing County Executive Bob Casserly of spying on him.
The Orioles stay hot with the win over the Yankees on Sunday Night Baseball. How Birdland is celebrating another series win.
And it's a beautiful afternoon outside. Temperatures across the state below average in the low to mid 80s, but we are looking at a rising trend and the return of rain later this week. I'll let you know when to expect showers and storms in my full forecast.
Fox 45 News, winner of 16 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
Bold allegations today in Harford County. District B County Councilman Aaron Penman accuses County Executive Bob Casserly of spying on fellow politicians, law enforcement, even private citizens.
Yeah, the councilman claims he has evidence of Casserly illegally monitoring emails and phone calls, which Penman calls a wiretap violation.
Fox 45's Amy Simpson has this developing story. Amy.
Mary Kai, this afternoon, we do know the Harford County Sheriff's Office has now opened a criminal investigation into this issue. The county councilman is accusing Harford County Executive Bob Casserly of weaponizing government. Councilman Aaron Penman today telling me he believes his emails and calls were being monitored starting back in May. He claims this came after he raised those concerns about possible misappropriation of millions of dollars in county funds. Now, Fox 45 News has not seen any evidence of these wiretap allegations against County Executive Casserly. The councilman tells me he handed that evidence over to law enforcement.
I don't have it to share with you. I'm sure whenever their investigation is complete, they'll forward it out to where it could be public. I really believe this is a stain on our local democracy in Harford County. How can our community and our constituents trust this government if we're spying on each other?
Now, today, a spokesperson for County Executive Bob Casserly told me that Casserly was unavailable for an interview, but did say, quote, "This is the second time in the past 2 months that Councilman Aaron Penman has made wholly unfounded, malicious, and slanderous allegations of criminal misconduct by the Casserly administration." The statement also called the allegations a deplorable political stunt and, quote, "This conduct is especially egregious given the councilman's prior law enforcement experience." And the Harford County State's Attorney's Office says it's aware of these allegations made by Councilman Penman, but does not have any comment on any investigation. Reporting live tonight, Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
Amy, thank you. Well, the latest controversy in Harford County comes after a dispute over the 2024 budget proposal before it was approved last month. Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor says County Executive Bob Casserly removed funding for victim services advocates and pulled the plug on plans for a new $22 million police training academy, something Gaylor says was approved 2 years ago by the previous administration.
And now the county executive is not moving forward and has changed his stories countless times on what he's doing, why it's on hold, why he's not moving forward. Every time he opens his mouth, there's a different description of why he's not moving forward.
Everybody's got to live within their means, and I've introduced a fiscally conservative budget that doesn't raise taxes.
Well, Casserly also received pushback on his school budget plan, which included a $19 million funding cut to avoid a tax hike for Harford County residents.
I urge you to reject Bob Casserly's budget and send his team back to the drawing board. His bare minimum budget does not adequately support essential services.
Anyone who votes for this budget, I assure you, you will have a primary challenger in your party. I assure you.
Bob Casserly was elected over 2-to-1 to be a fiscally conservative person with our tax dollars. 2-to-1, to me, that's a mandate.
Well, Casserly warned if the school system got its full wish list of funding, each household could see a $500 tax increase. The two sides eventually reached a compromise. Well, it is Monday, but it is a beautiful Monday out there.
It is,
almost like
right?
It's warm, but fresh air out there for the first time.
Yeah, it's not too humid outside. We have plenty of sunshine, and it's a nice change from the end of last week. Hot, stormy, and now it's much calmer. And that's what you want for a Monday.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's going to last for the next few days. So it looks great around the state through the middle of the week, but the second half, warmer temperatures and the next chance for showers and storms. Current temperature is around 83. It only feels like 82, so really not too humid outside. It feels great with those below average temperatures. We're mainly seeing the 80s around the state, and overnight the numbers drop to the 50s and the 60s. You may even need a light jacket stepping outside, especially where we see those 50s. But be cautious, there may be an isolated shower. We're keeping watch on a cold front front that's currently over Pennsylvania moving south. Behind that, a few showers and storms, and we could be clipped by that. There's the chance for a few isolated showers and storms overnight. Most of us are going to stay dry, so notice around 3 a.m. keeping track of an isolated shower, potentially some heavy rain. By daybreak, it looks much better, and as you're driving to work, mostly dry with plenty of sunshine. By the afternoon, still looking at plenty of sunshine as our temperatures reach the mid-80s. Then overnight and into Wednesday, we'll wake up to a few more clouds, but it still looks great. Possibly an isolated shower. Our rain chances will begin to increase, though, on Thursday and again on Friday. It looks mostly dry on Saturday and Sunday, and then we have the chance for a few spotty showers and storms on Monday, so not a washout for the weekend, but you will want to make sure that you're keeping watch on the radar as we head into Thursday and Friday. We're keeping watch on two areas in the Atlantic Basin. The first, in yellow, has a low chance of formation over the next 2 and 5 days, and then the second area in red has a high chance of formation over the next 5 days. It does look like this will remain over the open Atlantic, and it won't be a threat to us. Temperatures drop to 65 overnight with mostly clear skies. Then tomorrow, we're looking at our high temperatures gradually rising to the mid-80s. That's keeping us below average for this time of year. We'll have plenty of sunshine and lower humidity, so a great day to get outside and maybe do some yard work. This is followed by temperatures around the mid-80s again on Wednesday with plenty of sunshine, then 84 on Thursday. That's when we get ready for the next chance for showers and storms. It's followed by 88 on Friday with another chance for showers and storms. After that, 88 on Saturday, 89 on Sunday. Both days will be mostly dry. However, we have our next chance for showers and storms on Monday with temperatures around 90. Back to you.
Jasmine, thank you. Well, let's go live to Camden Yards now. Looking calm on this beautiful Monday afternoon in Baltimore, but it certainly wasn't calm last night as the Orioles rode a fast start to a series win over the rival New York Yankees, keeping their hold on first place in the AL East. Didn't take long for the bats to get going. Orioles were already up 3-0 in the first inning when Adam Frazier hits a 3-run homer. The Orioles scored 7 runs in the first inning. You know what? They never looked back, taking down the Yankees 9-3 in the series finale last night.
Yeah, this is a different team, Mary, and this has been building over the last couple of years. You could see this kind of momentum happening. The O's, hottest thing in Major League Baseball right now. Let's take a look at what some of the fans are saying here. Gunners fired up, are you? Everybody loves Gunnar Henderson, don't they? How about this one? On Mo Gabba Day, which was last week, the Orioles walk off the Yankees. And this one nice here. I mean, come on now. How can you not be romantic about the Baltimore Orioles baseball, right? The Orioles of the 80s and 60s fans are thinking about. And here, Maryland's governor. Just call me Governor Splash. James and I, his son, had a great time with Marylanders at the Yard tonight, cheering on our Orioles to another win.
The U.S. women's national team is back in action bright and early tomorrow at the Women's World Cup. The U.S. takes on Portugal in their final group match overnight at 3 in the morning. Watch all the action right here on Fox 45. Then at 7 a.m., England faces China, also here on Fox 45. Fox 45 Morning News will air on the CW Baltimore tomorrow from 4:30 until 9 a.m. Then we'll be back on Fox 45 after the match. Republican presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis back on the campaign trail. His latest comments about former President Trump as polls show Trump's lead continues to widen. Plus, in your back-to-school headquarters coverage, why defining healthy digital habits now will help once classes get underway. Some help from an expert. We are following some breaking news. Actor Paul Reubens, famous for his role as Pee Wee Herman, has died. His publicist confirmed he died of cancer. A statement on his official Instagram account calling him an iconic American actor, writer, and producer. Reubens first developed the Pee Wee Herman character in the 70s. He then got a movie deal in 1985 with Tim Burton as the director, and later a Netflix film in 2016. Paul Reubens was 70 years old. Well, developing now, a former business partner of Hunter Biden giving testimony on Capitol Hill today in front of the House Oversight Committee. GOP leaders are pressing Devon Archer on his business dealings with the president's son and any possible involvement from President Biden in those negotiations. Hunter Biden appeared in court last week and had a plea deal rejected. He faces 2 misdemeanor tax crime charges and 1 felony weapons charge. Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman will join us live on Fox 45 News at 6 with more on today's developments in court. Well, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is on the campaign trail today, pushing his economic plan as part of his presidential campaign. As DeSantis is on the road, a new poll from the New York Times shows he has a lot of ground to make up in the race to the White House. DeSantis trails former President Trump by 37 points in this poll. No other Republican has more than 3% of the vote. As his own campaign flails, DeSantis says Trump is painting a target on his back.
We also spend more than $20 million attacking me. He was attacking me with these commercials, phony commercials, when I was just doing my job as governor. I wasn't even a candidate.
Trump's positive result in the polls comes as he's still facing some legal controversy. By September 1st, we should know whether the former president will face charges in Georgia over claims he and his allies tried to overturn 2020 election results. And a Mar-a-Lago employee, Carlos de Oliveira, has made his first appearance today. He faces charges of scheming with Trump to hide security footage of classified documents from investigators. And that brings us to our national question of the day. What issue will most impact your vote for president next year? The economy, crime, foreign policy, or candidate scandals? You can vote right now at foxbaltimore.com/vote. Just click on that Pulse tab. Ahead at 4:30, the Baltimore City Inspector General's office releases its annual report. Isabel Cumming joins us live to talk about her office's findings. And President Biden launches a new website to help students in need. Who qualifies and how they can apply?
The annual report from the Baltimore Inspector General's office is out today, and Inspector General Isabel Cumming is here to talk about the findings. And Isabel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Inspector General, you identified nearly $7 million in savings in waste. What stands out to you from the past year?
Well, I'm just the face of the office. In reality, it's all my employees that work so hard to make this happen, and also the citizens that give us the tips that made this happen. Some of the ones that I remember the most are probably the Hebrew Orphanage, which is in West Baltimore. The fact that this is an incredible building that's in West Baltimore that they're looking for someone to join and partner with, and that was an opportunity that the Inspector Generals could really push that, as well as we had the mummified rat, and then of course we had, remember, the crowded City Hall situation. It's just been an incredible year. When I first started, we had 70 hotline complaints. This year we had over 1,000. Wow. And I remember promising the citizens that I wanted to double it and double it again. Well, we're 10 times now, and it's because of the citizens, and we are so grateful.
That's impressive.
Yeah, kind of exponential. So it's the first year the Citizens Advisory Board approved by voters in November. How can citizens see the work that you're doing so they can keep tabs on what's happening in the office?
That's a great question, and I can tell you that you could actually watch tonight, because the advisory board is actually meeting tonight at 5:30, and you can catch it right online if you just go to the advisory board on and there's the picture of our advisory board. This group is just an incredible group, all Baltimore citizens, all people from the different districts, and all trying to make a difference and trying to make people understand what this office does and how each one of us can be a part of it.
And they're all independent, not connected to any political affiliation in that sense. What new goals do you have moving forward, and will you talk about that tonight with the board?
Yeah, the new goals, I mean, one of my goals is to develop a citizens class, that citizens that are interested in working with the Inspector General and bringing it out to bringing outreach out to the citizens, that any of the communities can always ask us to come out and speak, and we're very happy to do that. You know, outreach with the citizens and making people understand there is someone that's willing to investigate, who's willing to help. If it's within our jurisdiction, we will try to get it done.
That sounds like a great plan. Isabel Mercedes Cumming, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about your annual report and other things going on. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody checks it out online.
Yeah, if you would like to read more, the 22-page report is available in its entirety right now on the Inspector General's website.
The Baltimore City Fire Department welcomes its newest class of firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics. 56 officially sworn into the department today. Firefighters spend 20 to 40 weeks studying on everything from fire alarms to hazmat situations and water rescues in order to be ready to serve the people of Baltimore. Congratulations to all involved, and thank you for your service. A new MoneyWise study shows Marylanders have the fourth worst credit card debt in the country. On average, Marylanders have just over $4,000 in credit card debt. Alaska has the highest average debt, while Mississippi ranks the lowest.
Well, take a look at this. A garage in Caroline County almost completely destroyed after a fire last night. It happened in Denton. Fire officials say the garage owner spilled gasoline onto an extension cord, creating a spark leading to that blaze. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The fire caused about $150,000 in damages.
There's a movement underway in Baltimore City to improve education. This summer, Sylvan Learning is providing a summer program at 3 locations around the city. Each one offers free tutoring. 60 city school students are taking part in the program which focuses on math. Students were assessed on the first day and will be reassessed to measure their progress. John McCullough, Sylvan CEO, says the program helps prepare students for school.
We see that every day. In Sylvan, and I think that as a community, it's the greatest thing that we could do for children, is to provide them an education that gives them opportunity.
Tonight at 10 o'clock, we'll tell you how a Project Baltimore story helped inspire this free summer learning program.
Believe it or not, school starts in less than a month for many Maryland students, and parents may be looking for ways to make sure their children stay focused on their schoolwork this coming year. As Patrice Sanders explains, unplugging can go a long way.
School is just around the corner, but it's never too soon to start getting kids into healthy digital habits, especially for families who may have relaxed their screen time rules over the summer. Tech expert and author of Parenting in a Tech World, Tatana Jordan, says gradually start shutting down device use earlier and earlier each day leading to school. Start charging the devices outside the bedroom and define a clear, clutter-free space for homework that doesn't include phones, tablets, and game devices. As for use during the school year,
it is different for every child, which makes it hard for parents, right? But I would say a blanket rule is no more than 2 hours a day in front of a screen without a break. And think about the fact that your children, when they're in school, they're potentially in front of screens, right? So coming home and getting back in front of screens isn't necessarily good for them. They need to move their bodies. They need to engage all of their 5 senses. And so for some children, no tech during the week is what they need in order to focus and be healthy. And for some kids, an hour or 2 hours a day of entertainment and social media can be okay for them. But pay attention to the warning signs that tell you your kid's not okay. Appetite, grade, moods, sleep. Are those impacted? Then that's something you need to dial in.
Now, she also says this is a good time to talk with your kids about the hard stuff, cyberbullying, inappropriate texting, photos that don't go away. Kickstart the dialogue about why these protective measures are important when it comes to their safety. Patrice Sanders, Fox 45 News.
Well, Fox 45 News is your back-to-school headquarters. Now through the first day of school, we'll be compiling all of the things busy parents need to know to prepare for a great school year. Just click on the QR code there on your screen to check out all of the stories we've posted so far, or go to foxbaltimore.com/back-to-school headquarters.
President Biden launches a new income-driven plan to help students apply for student loan relief. The administration is launching a new website for IDR applicants with payments determined by a borrower's income and family size. But with payments set to resume in October, many families are struggling to come up with the money. The National Desk, Angela Brown, explains.
Here's the survey that has parents talking. It's from College Ave Student Loans. Roughly 1,000 parents of current college students surveyed. Only 44% felt ready to pay for college costs the summer before their child's freshman year. College watchdog group Campus Reform says parents are sacrificing their savings.
The survey actually indicated, as we reported at Campus Reform, how many parents are actually putting off their retirement. They're not contributing to their retirements in order to pay for their child's education.
College tuition is skyrocketing. Just look at the numbers. Best Colleges found from 2000 to 2020, the average tuition and fees rose by 69%, from over $8,000 a year to over $13,000. Some students concerned about costs are changing course to community college or even apprenticeship programs.
But a more secure opportunity, at least from my standpoint, would be to work in the trades, go to school, have your school paid for by your sponsor, and receive an education that you don't have to pay for.
Parents sending their child off for freshman year are facing an enormous price tag. The Education Data Initiative found the average in-state student attending a public four-year institution spends over $26,000 one academic year. And how are parents paying for this? An August 2022 survey from U.S. News and World Report found nearly half of parents who borrowed took out more than one student loan to pay for their child's college education, and many had been repaying their debt for a decade or longer. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
Coming up at 5:30, David Williams from the Taxpayers Protection Alliance will join us live to discuss the president's student loan plan and how it could impact you.
Well, if you live near Aberdeen Proving Ground, you may hear some loud noises over the next few days. The facility is running routine daytime tests from 8:30 in the morning through 6:30 at night, today through Friday. Aberdeen Proving Ground says the tests pose no risk to residents in the surrounding communities.
A new report details how Chinese hackers are infiltrating U.S. bases, why they're going after targets, and what's being done to stop them. It's a summer full of seafood at many Baltimore restaurants. We'll take a look at how one local staple is spicing up its oyster dishes with conversation.
And it's a gorgeous afternoon with plenty of sunshine, and temperature is below average, but we are getting ready for a big warm up and the next chance for storms late this week. I'll let you know when to expect those storms in my Weather Authority forecast.
During the summer, it's the perfect time for seafood at some of Baltimore's local eateries. Be More lifestyle host Mark Clark was at Mama's on the Half Shell in Canton, taking us through some of their oyster offerings.
We're back with Taylor here. And so Taylor, we're getting ready for National Oyster Week. But also, we're going to talk about dressing our oyster.
We are. We are getting ready to partner with the Oyster Recovery Program here in Baltimore, recycling all of our oysters for a long time now and celebrating this week with as many specials as we can fit into the week.
I love it. So, okay, can we hop into the dressing the oyster?
Let's do it.
Okay, now I think you must be I'm going to do, so I'm a lemony, so give me a little lemon. Give me a little, what is this? Cocktail sauce?
House-made cocktail sauce.
Yeah, and then I'm a simple man.
Classic guy.
So what do you do? Give me what is your preference?
I typically love a little bit of lemon and our mignonette. It is a red wine vinegar and onion.
Oh, you fancy.
It is absolutely delicious.
Looks tasty. Well, Jasmine, we finally got a bit of a break from that heat. Actually, I think it started kind of over the weekend. Yesterday was just stunning around Baltimore. People were downtown. And it looks like we're going to have a beautiful night outside as well, right?
Yeah, Kai, that's right. It has been a gorgeous day, and we are getting ready for another fantastic one tomorrow. First overnight. Looks pretty good, possibly a very stray shower, but if you're planning on eating outside this evening, great weather. Current temperature is around 86. It feels like it's 84, and a little breezy with winds out of the northwest around 11 miles per hour. Across the state, temperatures 60s, 70s, 80s, 88 currently in Frederick. That's the high spot spot on the map. We've got 82 in Hagerstown and in Westminster, 79 in Bel Air. Not too bad around the state, but overnight these numbers will fall. We're looking at the 60s and even the 50s as you wake up in the morning. As we head into the afternoon, though, those temperatures back to the mid-80s, just like what we have right now. Mid-80s and dry on Wednesday, but on Thursday we have our next chance for a few showers and storms. The temperatures will remain in the mid-80s. It's the weekend when we see that rise in numbers. We're keeping watch on our latest weather maker. There's a cold front moving south across Pennsylvania. That could clip our state and possibly lead to a stray shower, but it will not be a washout for the night. Around 3 a.m., we're keeping track of that shower. It mainly looks like it's over the eastern shore, so possibly a few spotty showers and the potential for heavy rain at times. This does clear by 8 a.m., and we're off to a great start to the day. We'll have plenty of sunshine for the afternoon, and then overnight a few more clouds arrive into Wednesday morning. Still looks pretty good for the afternoon. This model hinting at a stray shower. Most of us will stay dry. It's Thursday when we'll have that next chance for showers and storms, and unfortunately, starting off the weekend on Friday, another chance for showers and storms likely in the afternoon. We'll stay mostly dry on Saturday and Sunday, and then on Monday, the chance for a few spotty showers, but again, we're not looking at a washout. We're keeping an eye on two areas in the Atlantic Basin. The first in yellow has a low chance of formation over the next 2 and 5 days. The second area in red, a high chance of formation over the next 5 days. However, it does look like this will stay over the open Atlantic. 65 for the low temperature with mostly clear skies. This is followed by highs reaching the mid-80s tomorrow. That is below average for this time of year, and we'll have a few more days with those below average temperatures. Meanwhile, we are getting closer and closer to the start of the school year. Just under 30 days for Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and also Hartford, Howard, and Anne Arundel counties. And then just over 35 days for Carroll, Cecil, and Kent counties. So we are getting closer to that bus stop forecast. As we head into the night, mostly dry, and then temperatures tomorrow around 86 again. 85 on Wednesday with plenty of sunshine. 84 on Thursday with the next chance for showers and storms, mainly in the afternoon. And same thing on Friday. Those showers and storms will mainly be in the afternoon. Our temperatures reach 88, staying close to average. We'll be in the upper 80s again on Saturday and Sunday with mostly dry weather. This is followed by temperatures around 90 degrees on Monday, and we'll have the next chance for a few spotty showers and storms. Back to you.
Thank you, Jasmine. We are learning new details about the infrastructure threats posed by Chinese malware. According to the New York Times, the Biden administration is looking for malicious computer code that could be infecting systems at U.S. bases. National correspondent Dr. El Nashar explains.
U.S. officials in a race against time to protect America's military bases and infrastructure people rely on every day from Chinese malware.
It's clear that the threat environment and the threat actors that we're up against are continuously evolving, growing more complex and more dangerous every day.
Citing U.S. military, intelligence, and national security officials, a New York Times report says the government is now looking for malicious computer code it believes China has hidden deep inside the networks controlling power grids, communication systems, and water supplies that feed military bases in the United States and around the world. This follows an announcement in May from Microsoft that the company found malicious activity carried out by the state-sponsored Chinese actor known as Volt Typhoon in Guam, home to multiple U.S. military bases.
The most capable competitor that we have in cyberspace is the PRC. They use cyber to gain political, economic, and military advantage.
All of this raising fears China has the ability to cut off power not just on bases, but also to civilian homes connected to those utilities. The threat is consistent with a report released earlier this year by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence that says China almost certainly is capable of launching cyber attacks that could disrupt critical infrastructure services within the United States, including against oil and gas pipelines and rail systems, which could happen, it says, if Beijing feared a conflict with the U.S. was imminent and wanted to prevent American officials from making decisions by sparking societal panic and interfering with American troop deployment. FBI Director Christopher Wray says China's hacking program is bigger than that of every major nation combined.
If you took every single one of the FBI's cyber agents and intelligence analysts, and I told them focus only on China, nothing but China, cyber actors from China would still outnumber FBI cyber personnel by at least 50 to 1.
An unsettling reality in what many officials and experts deem the United States' most pressing national security threat. In Washington, I'm Atrel Nashar reporting.
Coming up at 5 o'clock, the website for the president's new student loan repayment plan is active. How you can qualify for financial relief. Anyone driving on the highway can see SUVs and pickup trucks are quite busy on America's roadways, but it's what you can't see that has safety experts concerned. Pickup trucks and crossover SUVs dominate many roads. As they grow in size, so does the threat to those around them. Tom Rogers shows us Consumer Reports' demonstration about blind spots.
Influenced by Consumer Reports' testing of rear visibility, backup cameras have been required on all new vehicles since 2018.
Backup cameras have saved lives and given us all that additional view when we're moving backward. Now we need to shift the focus to the safety in front of the vehicle.
Latest data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows in 2020 there were more than 500 deaths and more than 10,000 front-over injuries due to forward-moving vehicles. A disproportionate number of those front-over victims are children. According to Kids in Cars, about 81% of victims are under 7. One reason, vehicles have grown in size, creating larger blind spots around them. Here's a demonstration from Consumer Reports.
So we're going to use Mr. Bear here to simulate a small child. You let me know when you can see him. Anything?
Nope.
Can you see him now?
No.
Anything now?
Well, I can just see his ears.
Where we're looking here is about 15 feet ahead of that vehicle.
Wow, that's a big distance.
And again, you're only seeing the top of his head.
There is currently no law requiring vehicles to have front cameras or sensors.
there's already so many of these large vehicles on the road that awareness has to be part of it. If you're driving a large vehicle, maybe walk around the vehicle or make sure all kids in the area are in your line of sight before that vehicle starts to move.
A bill called the Stop Front Overs Act is now in Congress and could require changes to certain vehicles to help prevent these types of crashes. Tom Rogers, Fox 45 News.
Ford is projecting big losses from electric vehicles. The automaker is forecasting a $4.5 billion loss this year. Ford says that EV adoption is moving slower than they hoped, but it will produce 600,000 EVs by the end of next year. Twitter is facing a new investigation over its rebranding to X. San Francisco city officials are investigating the company after it installed a giant X on top of its headquarters. In a complaint, city officials say Twitter lacked permits needed and had not taped off the sidewalk as a safety measure. Similar concerns were raised when workers dismantled the Twitter sign on the side of the building.
We have been enjoying nice and dry days, below average temperatures, but we will return to a steamy and stormy pattern for the weekend. 88 with the next chance for showers and storms on Friday. That's followed by 88 again on Saturday with mostly cloudy skies and mostly dry weather. Then on Sunday, we're looking at 89 for the temperature and close to average for this time of year. We'll finish the weekend with a mix of sunshine and clouds, but we'll have showers and storms to start the work week. I'll let you know just what to expect for the rest of this week and into the weekend and my full forecast in about 20 minutes. Back to you.
Jasmine, thank you. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 5 o'clock, lingering questions about Baltimore's largest mass shooting. We press city leaders on the communication failures about the Brooklyn Day mass shooting. Plus, Baltimore residents voice their opinions on the Red Line project, why some argue the new transit service that is being forecast to be constructed is a waste of taxpayer dollars. Demanding transparency, the unanswered questions lingering about the Brooklyn Day mass shooting.
And as the violence continues, more emphasis on the illegal guns plaguing the city, how U.S. Attorney Eric Barron is touting the continued focus.
The state of the economy is in question, how Americans feel about the job President Biden is doing.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 5.
Controversy inside the Mitchell courthouse. Charges are dropped against a man facing 2 life sentences and a first-degree murder charge. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Mary Bubala. The reason for the dismissal, the state prosecutor is sick and requested a 1-day delay.
That request was denied and the case dismissed.
Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor joins us now live from the courthouse with the details on this. Rebecca.
That's right. Today, the trial of an accused murderer and repeat violent offender thrown out by a judge who said this case simply couldn't wait one more day.
Charges against 22-year-old Draquan Smith dropped Monday before trial even began. According to the city state's attorney's office, the lead prosecutor, Paul Crawley, contracted the flu over the weekend. He even obtained a doctor's note saying he could not be in court for jury selection and requested a 1-day delay. But instead of granting the brief postponement, a judge demanding the state move forward with new counsel, a call local attorney Jeremy Eldridge deemed highly unusual.
There is case law in the state of Maryland that speaks to the fact that prosecutors are not fungible, meaning they can't simply be replaced by another line prosecutor. And the more serious the charge, the more important that rule is to adhere to.
In this case, Smith is facing 2 life sentences and decades behind bars for more than a dozen other charges after police say he shot and killed another 22-year-old man during a daytime attack in South Baltimore last year. Police records show witnesses identified Smith as the man searching for the victim just before the incident to, quote, get his money from him.
So at a last-minute situation like this with a medical illness, it would be highly unusual and potentially inappropriate to just slide a different prosecutor in.
The city state's attorney's office sending a statement to Fox 45 reading in part, quote, this was not acceptable. The court forcing the state into the Hobson's choice of maintaining its prosecutorial independence, function, effectiveness, and continuity versus public safety and accountability does not serve the public interest in any way. Fox 45 also sending questions to the Maryland judiciary asking, what is your response to the state's attorney's argument? And why was a 1-day delay denied? They replied, quote, the rules of the judicial conduct prohibit a judge from commenting on pending cases, even though the case has been dismissed. Meanwhile, as for Eldridge's best guess,
the court feels pressure to resolve the overwhelming number of cases that are in a backlog situation.
Although it remains unclear how a 1-day delay would impact the court's COVID backlog.
But that seems to be the issue.
Now, Smith was recently convicted of attempted murder on another unrelated case earlier this year, so he will not be released anytime soon. Instead, the state will retry, and this case again, while he is still detained, a new court date is expected within the next 6 months. So again, it still remains unclear why in a situation like this, the judge would not grant a 1-day delay. Reporting live from outside of the Mitchell Courthouse, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
Rebecca, thank you. Well, Judge Melissa Finn has handed out some other high-profile decisions, including in the Adnan Syed case. Syed was released from prison last year after former city state's attorney Marilyn Mosby said new evidence was found in the Hae Min Lee murder. But his conviction was reinstated after Lee's family appealed, saying they weren't properly represented in court. Austin Davidson, the man convicted of killing a Wicomico County Sheriff's deputy, was out on a plea deal granted by Finn when he shot and killed the deputy last year. He received a life sentence for the murder in May. Judge Finn also accepted a plea deal from Marilyn Mosby's office in the case of convicted arsonist Luther Trent, which released Trent from jail after serving less than 6 months. Trent admitted to trying to burn down his ex-girlfriend's house with her and her roommates inside. Finn eventually overturned that plea deal. Trent is now back behind bars.
2 people were killed and 3 others shot overnight in 3 incidents across Baltimore. A 36-year-old woman was killed around 10:30 last night on Park Heights Avenue. Police say there were signs of blunt force trauma when they found her body. 2 hours later, a 22-year-old man and 2 others, including a teenage girl, were found with gunshot wounds on Dukeland Street. The 22-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say that shooting happened on Oakhurst Place. Around 3:30 this morning, a 29-year-old man was shot on South Monroe Street. Anyone with information about any of these shootings is asked to call city police.
And with the deadly shootings overnight, Baltimore has now seen 158 homicides so far this year. That is down from 211 homicides this time last year. There have been 391 non-fatal shootings, down from 424 at this time last year.
Data shows Maryland U.S. Attorney Eric Barron and City State's Attorney Ivan Bates' focus on guns has led to more repeat violent offenders behind bars. Alexa Ashwell joins us with the details of their latest cases and how this collaborative effort is helping Baltimore fight crime. Alexa?
Yes, Kai, just within the past several days and between the two offices, a total of 8 defendants have either pleaded guilty to or been sentenced for gun crimes. All of them, the repeat violent offenders, officials say, have long driven the violence here in the city. Sliding into Baltimore's crime fight, Maryland U.S. Attorney Eric Barron and City State's Attorney Ivan Bates.
Gun prosecution really is the centerpiece of our violent crime strategy.
That includes the two offices combing through cases on a daily basis and utilizing new prosecution policies that Barron says has contributed to the reduction in homicides and non-fatal shootings here in Baltimore.
Homicides are down 25% and non-fatal shootings are down 6.5%. And we think it's clear, and the data demonstrates that it's because we're working as a team. We're working collaboratively.
Collaboratively and creatively.
Good afternoon.
Back in August 2022, Barron announcing an Al Capone prosecution model, going after guns and repeat violent offenders in unconventional ways, including for fraud with the federal COVID relief plan. Barron creating a CARES Act strike force with the Department of Labor and Inspector General, and last month establishing the Maryland Financial Intelligence Task Force.
We're being more focused about following the money on those who commit violent acts in our communities. Many of those violent acts are driven by money, whether it be illegal drugs or drug trafficking. And so we're really focused on better following the money as an additional means of taking violent criminals out of our communities.
So overall, since last September, Barron says a total of 30 people have been indicted for federal gun crimes. Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Alexa, thank you. Well, so far this year, there have been 775 gun arrests across the city. That is a 2.6% decline overall compared to this time last year, according to city data posted on Open Baltimore during the June 21st public safety meeting at City Hall. Fox 45 News questioned Baltimore police, asking why the sudden decline in gun arrests.
Gun arrests citywide year to date are down. They're down a little bit from last year. One district, they're up very significantly, the Eastern District.
The Eastern District is showing a 163% increase in gun arrests, according to former Baltimore Police Deputy Commissioner Jason Johnson. This is likely coming down to enforcement and added resources.
This week marks 1 month since the Brooklyn Day mass shooting, and city leaders continue to face questions surrounding their response. Acting Baltimore Police Commissioner Rich Worley admits his department missed some warning signs. Now, there have been no arrests for this shooting so far. Police say they found bullet casings from as many as 16 guns, and they believe there are multiple suspects. A 17-year-old is facing weapons and riot charges in connection with the incident, but isn't charged with the shooting.
Well, Fox 45 News is also pressing the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement on what they knew about potential threats in Brooklyn before the shooting. Monzi leaders tell us Safe Streets workers were at the Brooklyn Day block party and left before the shooting happened. They say those Safe Streets workers did mediate conflicts, but will not say what those mediations included, when they happened, or how they were reviewed. Fox 45 News has been working to learn what a mediation is for years, but Monzi has never given us that information. Safe Streets workers are not city employees. They work for either LifeBridge or Catholic Charities, the nonprofits that run the various Safe Streets locations throughout the city. City council members questioned nonprofit leaders during a hearing on the shooting earlier this month. It was revealed those mediations were never reviewed.
Has anybody in Monsi then in your agency reviewed
those 5 incidents before?
No, we have not reviewed those that have been put in.
We don't know if they are also the same, if they're connected to this event, or whether or not they're also people of interest in this event.
I can't say if that's true or false.
That brings us to our question of the day. Should Catholic Charities be more transparent with the Safe Streets program? Right now, 97% of those who have voted say yes. You can make your voice heard right now at foxbaltimore.com/vote.
Fox 45 News will continue to press elected leaders on their response to the Brooklyn Day mass shooting. You can find all of our coverage online at foxbaltimore.com. Making headlines, former Baltimore County official Christopher McCullum is sentenced to 6 months in prison today. He was charged with theft, embezzlement, and perjury charges in February. He pled guilty to the theft and perjury charges in May. Prosecutors say McCullum stole from the campaign finances of 2 committees, Friends of Kathy Bevins and the Baltimore County Victory Slate, for personal gain. You can read more about the charges on our website, foxbaltimore.com.
It's been another gorgeous day with temperatures slightly below average. We've had plenty of sunshine. Currently, we're mainly seeing those numbers in the low to mid 80s around the state. Again, we've got lots of sunshine. It looks great out there over the harbor right now. However, we are going to return to that warmer pattern over the next 6 to 10 days. I'll let you know how high the temperatures will get and when to expect our next weather maker in my full forecast. Back to you.
I'm coming. Well, Fox 45 News is your back-to-school headquarters, and before you know it, students will be heading back into the classroom, and we are helping you get prepared. We went to 3 stores plus Amazon to see how many school supplies we could get for $20. Between Staples, Walmart, Target, and Amazon, the best deal was found at Walmart, coming in just over $11. 10 out of the 12 supplies on our list were under $1. Target had the second best deal at $13, followed by Staples at $19 and Amazon charging $30. Fox 45 News is your back-to-school headquarters. Now through the first day of school, we will be compiling all of the things busy parents need to know to prepare for a great school year. Just click on the QR code on your screen to check out all of the stores we've posted so far, or go to foxbaltimore.com/back-to-school-HQ.
Still ahead, the state of the U.S. economy, top of the mind heading into August. The new poll sheds light on Americans' trust in President Biden.
Plus, orange is sweeping the nation as the Orioles remain on top of the AL East. How fans are showing off their pride.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sports Unlimited. I'm Morgan Adsit live in Owings Mills, where the Ravens just wrapped up day number 5 of training camp practice, and it was a big first. The first practice with the pads on. The Ravens, of course, are being very smart about this, but this is our first taste of real football. You can see and hear the difference, but they are nowhere near 100% speed or the physical play. But it's a big step in this team in getting everything right. It also brought out the fans. They were louder, you could hear them. It may have caused one injury, though. Reserve safety Geno Stone left on his own power near the end of camp with a noticeable limp. John Harbaugh said after it doesn't appear to be anything serious, but they'll take a closer look at it. Now back to the big day 1 in pads. It is a day the defense always looks forward to. And Patrick Queen, their inside linebacker, has advice for those jumping into the pads and how to practice.
Got to be more physical. I think that's the main focus today was even if you mess up 100% being physical. So everything else we could correct in the film room, in the classroom. But the main focus today is just to come out, set your pads day 1, set the tone, and just look to get better from there.
It was a good practice. From just being out here live, seeing it right now, I thought the guys did a good job. It was a clean practice. Guys did a nice job also of taking care of each other, but still being physical and playing fast. Then I'm sure we have a lot to work on.
The Ravens did get a couple players back on the practice field. Rookie wide receiver Zay Flowers, he's missed the last 2 days with an illness. He was out there today. And cornerback Pepe Williams, this is his 2023 camp debut. He started the season on the PUP list with an ankle injury. This was his first practice and with the pads on. The second-year corner is expected to have a big season and needs to step up to land some depth reserve role for the Ravens this season. Reporting live in Owings Mills, I'm Morgan Adsit for Sports Unlimited.
Morgan, thank you. From football to baseball, excitement building at Camden Yards, where the Orioles claim a victory over the New York Yankees and hold on to their first-place status in the AL East. They started off hot, already up 3-0 in the first inning when Adam Frazier hit this 3-run homer. The Orioles scored 7 runs in the first inning. And you know what? They never looked back, taking down the Yankees 9-3 in the series finale last night. A lot of reaction from fans on Twitter, of course, including from that. Let's take a look at this one. Still in love with this shot of the Orioles crowd at Camden Yards getting up for Adam Frazier's bomb. That was a good one. I love this one. Ready? Orioles Rob, good morning, Birdland. We've got news to spread in Charm City after blasting the Bronx Bums last night. Have a fabulous week. Of course, start spreading the news. And one more for you here, if I can. Gunners fired up? Are you fired up? I think everybody is fired up. Well, you are going to have to wake up early to catch the U.S. women's soccer team's 3rd World Cup match tomorrow. Kickoff for the match between the U.S. and Portugal is scheduled for 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. A win or a draw against Portugal will secure the U.S. a spot in the knockout stage of the World Cup. Team USA has won the last 2 women's World Cups. You can watch all the action right here on FOX45. And then at 7 a.m., England faces China, also here on Fox 45. A programming note, though, Fox 45 Morning News will air on the CW Baltimore tomorrow from 4:30 until 9 a.m., and then we'll be back on Fox 45 after that match.
It's been a great start to the work week with the low humidity and plenty of sunshine. Current temperature is 88 and sunny over Baltimore. It's a little bit breezy with winds out of the west-northwest, but across the rest of the state, very nice this afternoon. Our temperatures are mainly in the 70s and the 80s. We've got 79 in Elkton, 83 in Annapolis, and a bunch of 80s around our area. Not too bad. As we head into the night, we'll get a little bit of relief from the heat. Our temperatures drop to the 50s and the 60s, starting off with mild weather, and then for the afternoon, we're looking at those high temperatures in the mid-80s, below average for this time of year. That's followed by 85, still below average on Wednesday. We'll be in the mid-80s once again on Thursday, but we'll have our next chance for showers and storms. On the HD radar, you'll notice a cold front is moving south across our region. That could lead to an isolated shower tonight, but most of us will stay dry. Notice around 3 a.m., keeping track of a spotty shower or two, but we do stay mostly dry starting off around 8 a.m. We'll wake up to plenty of sunshine, and into the afternoon, we keep those sunny skies. We'll stay dry overnight and into Wednesday. We'll stay mostly dry throughout the afternoon with just a few more clouds moving in. It's Thursday when we have that increased chance for showers and storms, followed by more storms on Friday. It looks mostly dry for Saturday and Sunday before the chance for spotty showers and storms on Tuesday. We're keeping watch on 2 areas in the Atlantic Basin, one with a low chance of formation, the other with a high chance of formation over the next 5 days. The good news, doesn't look like it'll move on land. 85 tomorrow, 84 on Thursday, then upper 80s on Friday and over the weekend, still in the upper 80s and low 90s by Monday. Back to you.
Jasmine, thank you. Still ahead tonight, President Biden making new efforts to assist with student loan payments. We speak to a financial expert on the impacts the new plan could have on you. Plus, you may want to get yourself a lottery ticket because the next drawing is going to be a big one, the amount that it has gone up to. We're talking mega millions, I think, here, and we'll tell you more about it coming up.
Has the White House's push on Bidenomics proven to be effective? I'm Atra Al-Nashar in Washington with what a new poll tells us about how Americans feel about their #1 issue.
Well, topping your consumer news tonight, 2024 presidential candidates are starting to roll out their plans for the economy. On Monday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis became the latest to introduce his economic agenda. National correspondent Atra Al-Nashar has a closer look at that and what a new poll tells us about what voters think of President Biden's latest push on this top issue.
This summer, the Biden administration has gone all in on Bidenomics. The president, vice president, and cabinet members crisscrossing the country to convince Americans their economic plan is working.
You see more the things that you need in order to really have a sense of vibrancy in a community.
However, a new CBS poll finds 59% of adults say they haven't read or heard much or anything at all about Bidenomics. For those who have heard about Bidenomics, when asked what comes to mind when they hear the word, the top answers are higher inflation, tax increases, investment in infrastructure, and job creation.
The latest reading of consumer confidence from the Conference Board shows people are starting to feel better about the economy and the direction it's headed. But it's not necessarily translating politically for President Biden, at least not yet. His approval rating still hovers around 40%, according to Gallup, and the Republicans hoping to replace him are trying to capitalize on that.
We are today declaring our economic independence from the failed elites and policies that have harmed this nation's middle class.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, whose struggling campaign is going through a reset, rolled out his three-part economic plan Monday to, as he puts it, take economic control back from China, grow the economy faster, and achieve quote-unquote energy independence.
Well, hello, Iowa!
Candidates polling even lower, trying bolder proposals. Former Vice President Mike Pence going all in on lowering inflation, supporting an overhaul of the Federal Reserve to eliminate its mandate to protect jobs. And, along with former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley,
and we're going to go tell them times have changed.
Looking at raising the retirement age for Social Security and Medicare to ensure the programs stay afloat. How much traction these ideas get in voting booths will likely depend on conditions closer to 2024. In Washington, I'm Atrell Nashar reporting.
Well, the Mega Millions lottery jackpot has grown to over $1 billion. The next drawing is tomorrow night. If anyone matches all 5 numbers plus that gold mega ball, the cash option is $527 million. Now, that could grow ahead of the drawing. The massive jackpot comes on the heels of a winning Powerball ticket worth more than $1 billion sold in California, but I don't think anybody has claimed that prize yet. Coming up after the break, the new website for President Biden's student loan repayment plan now active, how you can qualify for some relief. Plus, a back and forth in Harford County prompting more questions than answers, the accusations against the county executive. And community members voicing their opinions on the Red Line project, why some argue the new transit service is a waste of taxpayer dollars.
I really believe this is a stain on our local democracy in Harford County. How can our community and our constituents trust this government if we're spying on each other?
Well, tonight, a bizarre new political feud is happening in Harford County. District B County Councilman Aaron Penman accuses County Executive Bob Casserly of spying on fellow politicians, law enforcement, and private citizens.
The councilman claims he has evidence of Casserly illegally monitoring emails and phone calls, which Penman calls a wiretap violation.
Fox 45's Amy Simpson is here live in the studio with us. Amy, what are you learning?
Yeah, well, a lot of questions still to be answers about these serious allegations. But we do know tonight the Harford County Sheriff's Office has opened a criminal investigation. Bold allegations being levied tonight. Harford County Councilman Aaron Penman accusing County Executive Bob Casserly of weaponizing government to target and spy on those who seek oversight.
I call balls and strikes. If there's something not right, I bring it out.
Penman says he has evidence of the Casserly administration monitoring phone calls and emails between himself, Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor, the former county executive, a private attorney, and targeted citizens.
I think I understand why this is happening.
Today, the councilman telling Fox 45 News he believes he was being watched after raising concerns about the possible misappropriation of millions in county funds back in May.
I believe they're trying to find out exactly what I know, where I forwarded that information.
But Penman's evidence of these wiretap allegations has not been shared with Fox 45 News, and some on social media are poking holes in the councilman's accusations. Where's the proof? What evidence? One man commented on Penman's Facebook page. Today, the councilman said he turned that evidence over to law enforcement.
I don't have it to share with you. I'm sure whenever their investigation is complete, they'll forward it out to where it could be public.
Today, a spokesperson for County Executive Bob Casserly said Casserly was unavailable for an interview. This is the second time in the past 2 months that the councilman has made wholly unfounded, malicious, and slanderous allegations of criminal misconduct by the Casserly administration. The spokesperson said, in part, calling the allegations a deplorable political stunt, and this conduct is especially egregious given the councilman's prior law enforcement experience. The Harford County Sheriff's Office not naming names, but also addressing the serious allegations on social media. As with any report of a crime, we have a duty to investigate, the Post says, acknowledging Maryland's stringent wiretapping laws, and says due to the complexity of the case, detectives will report to the state's attorney for fairness and transparency.
I look forward to the investigation being complete. And all the facts coming out so it can be taken care of.
And while Harford County waits for more information or proof of any illegal actions by the county's top politician, tonight Councilman Penman stands by his words.
100%, it's factual. And nowhere in his statement did he deny doing it.
Meanwhile, the Harford County State's Attorney's Office telling us it's aware of the allegation raised by Councilman Penman, but has no comment on any investigation at this time. Live in this studio, Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
Amy, thank you. This latest controversy in Harford County comes after a dispute over the 2024 budget proposal before it was approved last month. Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor says County Executive Bob Casserly removed funding for victim services advocates and pulled the plug on plans for a new $22 million police training academy, something Gaylor says was approved 2 years ago by the previous administration.
And now the county executive is not moving forward and has changed his stories countless times on what he's doing, why it's on hold, why he's not moving forward. Every time he opens his mouth, there's a different description of why he's not moving forward.
Everybody's got to live within their means, and I've introduced a fiscally conservative budget that doesn't raise taxes.
Well, Casserly also received pushback on his school budget plan, which included a $19 million funding cut to avoid a tax hike for Harford County residents.
I urge you to reject Bob Casserly's budget and send his team back to the drawing board. His bare minimum budget does not adequately support essential services.
Anyone who votes for this budget, I assure you, you will have a primary challenger in your party. I assure you.
Bob Casserly was elected over 2-to-1 to be a fiscally conservative person with our tax dollars. 2-to-1, to me, that's a mandate.
Casserly warned if the school system got its full wish list of funding, each household could see a $500 tax increase. The two sides eventually reached a compromise.
Let's take a look at the top stories around the state. In Baltimore City this week marks 1 month since 2 people were killed and 28 others shot at the Brooklyn Day block party. The search for suspects continues. There have been no arrests for the shooting. Police say they found bullet casings from as many as 16 guns at the scene, and they believe there's more than one suspect, but they haven't named one at this time. A 17-year-old is facing weapons and riot charges in connection with the incident, but not the shooting.
In Baltimore City and Baltimore County, car thefts are spiking. More than 5,000 cars have been stolen in the city so far this year, 2,000 in the county. Baltimore police data revealed 383 vehicles were taken in the span of just 7 days earlier this month. And one of the recent vehicles stolen was a Baltimore unmarked police car.
In Middle River, a shooting investigation is underway. Police say a man was shot along Middle River Road around 9:30 Saturday night. Police have not said how the victim is doing. They also haven't released any information about a suspect.
And in Annapolis, police are naming the teenager who was shot and killed Thursday as 16-year-old Robert Clark. Police say he and another teen were shot just after 10 Thursday night. A 17-year-old was also hurt in that shooting. He's in critical condition. A first-of-its-kind movement underway right now in Baltimore City aimed at improving education.
This summer, Sylvan Learning is trying something it's never done, a summer learning program at 3 locations around the city, each one offering tutoring for free. Roughly 60 city school students are taking part in the program, focusing on math. Each of the students was assessed on day 1, and they'll be reassessed to measure their progress. John McCullough, Sylvan CEO, says the program helps better prepare students for school.
We see that every day in Sylvan, and I think that as a community, it's the greatest thing that we could do for children, is to provide them an education that gives them opportunity.
Tonight at 10 o'clock, we'll tell you how a Project Baltimore story helped inspire this free summer learning program. Developing tonight, a website for the new student loan repayment plan is active for borrowers.
That's right. The Biden administration announced the launch this month. The new approach comes weeks after the U.S. Supreme Court rejected the president's effort to wipe out student debt for millions of borrowers.
The president's new plan could lower monthly loan payments for some borrowers and reduce the amount they have to pay back over the lifetime of their loans.
David Williams with the Taxpayers Protection Alliance joins us live tonight to weigh in on this. David, thanks for joining us.
Good evening. And yes, this is active for borrowers, and now it's active for taxpayers, because this is going to be very expensive. And this is Biden's second bite at the apple. And I think this is actually going to be a more expensive bite at the apple, because we've already seen some estimates about $175 billion a year. This is not over 5 or 10 years. This is $175 billion potentially per year. And what's really curious is that the Biden administration has not come out with a price tag on this yet, which shows you that they may be trying to hide the price tag and really give everyone sticker shock on this.
So, David, the president had a similar plan, as you know, introduced last year. That was struck down by the Supreme Court. What do you think might happen to this one legally, which will probably face some challenges?
So this is interesting, because he's not outright forgiving these student debts. What he's doing is he's reducing it from 10% of your income to 5% of your income that you have to pay back. So if you're making $50,000 instead of $5,000, a year, it's $2,500 a year. So I think there's some wiggle room for him to do that. And then he says, if you're a married couple and you file separately, now that's important, Kai, if you file separately, that you don't have to combine your income. So one spouse could be making, let's say, $200,000, and if the other one's making $20,000, well, that one that's making $20,000 might get their student loan completely taken care of. And I think that is a giant loophole. I mean, that's a giant loophole that I think people are going to exploit. And again, it's going to end up costing taxpayers a lot of money. And one provision in here that not a lot of people know about is that after 10 years, your debt could be eliminated completely. So that's where the big price tag comes in. And that's, I think, why a lot of people will probably sign up for this. And, it may or may not survive scrutiny with the Supreme Court or even Congress.
A lot of opinions on this on both sides, right?
True.
All right,
true.
David Williams, thanks so much for weighing in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, continuing coverage of the Baltimore Red Line project this week, public meetings will officially wrap up. One is currently taking place until 7 tonight, with another one happening tomorrow from 3 to 7. Now, these meetings come after Governor Moore announced last month he was relaunching the project, the goal to enhance east-west connectivity across the Baltimore region. The project had an estimated price tag of $2.9 billion back then. Critics say it doesn't make sense to spend that much money on a rail line while ridership is dropping.
No way that it makes sense to spend that much money to carry that few riders. They don't ride transit to work. Less than 10% take transit to work. And yet the taxes that are used to support transit are, many of them are very regressive.
Meanwhile, supporters say the Red Line would better connect people to jobs and services.
We've been enjoying a nice couple of days. We're back to that dry pattern, and we're not dealing with extreme heat. In fact, temperatures a little bit closer to average this evening. We're seeing numbers in the 80s. We just had 88 over in Baltimore, so really not too bad now. Temperatures starting to fall slightly. As we get ready for the day tomorrow, we'll stay in this comfortable pattern with highs in the mid-80s on Wednesday and again on Thursday. But you will notice on Thursday, we have our next chance for showers and storms. I'll let you know the timing of the storms and when to expect drier weather in my Weather Authority forecast. Back to you.
Jasmine, thank you. Coming up after the break, an employee at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate appearing in court today, why he was added to the indictment of the former president.
Meta handing over internal company emails to congressional investigators. I'm Kayla Gaskins in Washington. Coming up, why the content of those emails is ringing alarm bells on Capitol Hill.